Hey everyone. Hopefully everyone out there has had a great day today and are looking forward to a great evening. And I just wanted to come on real quick, make a short little video about a few things. I've got a couple of things that I want to cover, so we'll get right into it. One, I'm not sure if you guys had time to watch Marco Rubio on the Hill today. Marco schooled the Democrats. Marco is such an intelligent guy, you can tell, and he's such a good communicator, a good orator on everything, and he's a subject matter expert on just about everything. He's been up there long enough, and he's really looked into these things and has such a deep knowledge on all of this stuff. I really hope that we can keep Marco in some position, whether it's vice president or even president, and because he's really such a good guy. So let's take a look at this just a little bit, and I'll tell you kind of what's going on. We'll set this up. This is Chris Murphy, who is probably the most despicable man in American politics today. And I would bet he's probably the most despicable person in the United States today. He's running a close second with Ilhan Omar. And how does Kennedy say it? He might not be the stupidest guy in America, but he'd better hope the stupidest guy in America doesn't die. I really love Senator Kennedy. But so the Democrats on the Hill, and I watched the whole thing, the Democrats tried to get him in gotcha moments and soundbite moments and stuff like that. And Marco was not going to have any of it. There was no yes, no questions or anything like that. Marco really let them have it today, and I applaud Marco for that. So let's just give a minute of this, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
You reserved the right to use force again in the future if the Venezuelan government isn't complying with your requests. So if, for instance, they refuse to give you access to the oil in the future, if they said, we're just going to keep it for ourselves, would this cause you to consider military action? And do you concede that if you're using military action simply to try to compel cooperation from the government, you absolutely need congressional authorization for that? So if you can answer those three.
Yeah, so the first question was about the trading companies. The second is about Delcy's still in power 6 months from now.
6 months from now.
And the third is on the use of force.
Subject matter expert
on the first one, the two traders.
He didn't
So
write
here's the
those
problem we
questions.
face.
Somebody else wrote them for
The problem
him.
we face in the
You can
short
tell
term
he's
is
like,
they had no
"Huh?
place to put
What?
oil. They
What are
were
you
running out
talking
of
about?"
storage capacity for their oil. We had to move that oil to market very quickly. The only way to move it to market very quickly is to plug into these two primary trade companies that could sell it in the open market. That is not the permanent outcome here. That is a short-term fix to a short-term problem, which is they were literally storing oil. They brought in tankers and had tankers sitting.
Anyway, when you get time today, go and, or sometime this week, go and watch this whole thing. It really was amazing. And Marco's really an amazing person to have on our side. So we'll get right to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. And that is this staged moment here with Ilhan Omar. And you can tell that this thing was staged all the way. And the FBI is investigating it. And it's so the truth is going to come out. But so far we know that the stuff in the syringe that she got sprayed with was apple cider vinegar. Now, we found out later that it was apple cider vinegar, but if I saw someone in a political rally or a political town hall or anything spray something on somebody as hateful as Ilhan Omar, I'm probably going to think that it was anthrax or some other bioweapon. But none of the people in here had any regard for that. They knew that it was going to happen. She knew it was going to happen because she's got this stupid little smirk on her face and she's looking right at the guy a couple of times. And this guy back here in the red, he's going to film it all. So just watch this.
Abolish ICE for good.
Dismantle ICE.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
People back here are really Here's what I want to do. Let's stop it right there. Who is this guy right here? Does anyone know his name and who he works for? Is this Capitol Police? Because you're not going to defund ICE without defunding the Capitol Police. Why would we give up our protection so you can have protection? Somebody tell me what law affords them taxpayer protection. There is no law. to afford them taxpayer protection. None of the congressmen, none of the senators are afforded that, because then you'd have to give it to them all, to the most junior of them. And so why is she particular has Capitol security if this guy is Capitol Police? I don't know it is, and certainly he's not Secret Service. And I would think that Trump would probably take that away and not pay for that. But so somebody get me this guy's information, see what you can. But let's listen. Let's go ahead and we'll roll this a little bit more and see the reaction.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know
She
nothing.
carries on her press conference. Nobody knows what that substance was in the room.
No, we will.
You know,
No.
totally staged. Everybody
will
knows
continue
it. I
this.
hope the FBI finds out, and I hope the FBI charges her with a crime. And it's really despicable. But speak out about that, guys. We need to really start speaking up. The American Republican is just and conservative is just really too quiet. We really need to match the energy of these protesters and it's speaking up about this. And don't be quiet, because it's that's not going to get us anywhere. That is not going to help us by any means with anything. So guys, you got to start speaking up. And I want to hear from everybody. And, let me, and I spent a large portion of my today with my friends. And let me tell you something about you people out there organizing. First of all, if you're not really committed to giving your life to the cause of this nation, get off the airways and open up the airwaves and open up the online time and the attention for people who are. And I mean that in sincerity, that has to happen. So don't go on and be like the libtards who threaten things and everything. All those people are going to be charged with sedition and treason and racket, the RICO statute and everything. And you cannot organize. That is conspiracy. You cannot have two people talking about any sort of doing anything to a government or government official. That's conspiracy. So take that as a warning. If you are going to organize, be like me and my buddies. We're not online. We don't even have each other's phone numbers, but we are organized, and we are organizing on a daily basis in our community, and we have to, and we are communicating by word of mouth. So let that, just remember that, and just organize on your own. Don't look for anybody online who's going to be a leader or anything like that. Just be real careful out there, because it's not always going to be a Trump FBI and a true FBI. As soon as Trump's gone and the Democrats are back in there, it's going to be a far left run Democrat FBI, a far left FBI again. Let me tell you something about if an FBI agent comes to your door, don't say a word. Don't even tell him your name. Tell him to get the F off your property. That's what you need to do. And then you need to call Mike Flanagan in Nashville, and you can look him up. He's an excellent attorney who handles federal cases, and look him up. And they absolutely hate him because he's a very good lawyer. So, with that said, let's get into something else that I want to tell you real quick. I want to show you this book. This book is, and if you don't follow Michael Savage or listen to him, I don't know if he's syndicated anymore or not, but, but this book was written actually back in 2003, and it's called The Enemy Within. And he's talking about the far left, saving America from the liberal assault on schools, faith, and military. And in this book, he goes into a lot about, the universities and everything. And he goes into it about, how the gays have taken over our churches, our own Christianity, and everything like that. It's called the gay bishop. It's a section in here, as well as the military and the weak military. And I'm glad that we are awake to this and everything. But Michael Savage was one of the first people who really started speaking out about what was going on and ringing the alarm bells about everything. But like I say, this book is it holds true for today. and he talks about Islam and everything else in here. And the other thing that I want to show you is I get sometimes you know that Michael Youssef is my favorite pastor, and we support his ministry. And he's down in Atlanta, and I hope to be well enough this spring to go visit with him and everything down in Atlanta. He runs a his ministry is called Leading the Way, and I can show you real quick his ministry, and it's on ltw.org. Oop, I didn't do that right. But Michael Youssef, Dr. Youssef, he really does talk a lot about um, Islam. He's from Egypt. He lived in Australia for a while, had his ministry there, and then he's got a big church in Atlanta called the Church of the Apostles. But you can go here, leading the way, ltw.org. But Michael has been through the ravages of Islam and everything in Egypt. He's very knowledgeable about Islam and the Middle East and everything. And go in and listen to some of his stuff sometimes whenever you get time, because he really is an amazing author. But he talks about this today, and I got this today. It's called the Unholy Alliance, and you can get these My Journals. They're a monthly publication, and all you got to do is go to ltw.org and sign up for them. And this one, he talks about the how progressivism brought uh, brought about an Islamist invasion, and he talks about that in just this little one here. Now he's got some other books. I've got all of his books that he's ever written, and he talks about that in a lot of his other books. But it's go in whenever you can and maybe look at his books. They're available on Amazon and everything, and just read this. But he really does wake it up, and he's talking about like over in Great Britain. Great Britain used to have free speech rules, much like we have here. But when the Islamists over there have taken over, and there's a million a year going into Britain because they get the free benefits and everything else. They don't care about Britain. They only care about taking it over. But when the Islamists started invading in Britain, uh, they are the ones who got rid of all the free speech, because you could not talk out about Islam in any way. And the progressives over there saw this as, if you said anything about Islam, then you were a racist and a bigot and an Islamophobe and everything. They're the ones who created all this motion around the world. It was the European and the Britons and everything else, and it really is a disgusting movement. The people in Great Britain, they do not feel they do not feel free anymore. Is that the way that you want to live here in America? I don't think so. So, educate yourself, guys, about the Islamo Nazis and everything like that, and really read up on those publications that you can, and the really kind of align yourself with the subject matter experts and everything. And guys, reach out to me. You can find me online, and just yeah, don't hesitate to reach out.